Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Nic and Mike Sebastian with Divine Guidance Institute, Modern Day Mystery School, and the podcast Never Get Blindsided Again. Hey, today we're going to talk about relationships. Oh, yes, and getting blindsided. And then what the heck do you do? Michael?
Everybody's gotten blindsided, which is why we're going to chat about that today. And the relationship, I'm a sociologist, Nick's a psychologist, and you put them together and maybe you got some wisdom, maybe you don't. But the point is, I've studied relationships my whole life, and the key is in the word relationships. It's how we relate to people, how we relate to the person, maybe our potential soulmate, or maybe even our employer, how we relate. And if we're out of harmony, we get friction, pushback, trouble. And that's what we're going to talk about. It's called getting, and often we get blindsided. We go, whoa, did I get blindsided in that relationship? Well, imagine a world where no one is blindsided by life's unexpected turns, a world where every decision is informed by wisdom that transcends the ordinary. This is really the vision of the Divine Guidance Institute, a pioneering nonprofit dedicated to reviving the ancient way of knowing so that no one ever gets blindsided again. Our slogan, Never Get Blindsided Again, is really more than a promise. It's a new reality we're creating through the unparalleled tools of dreams, signs, and intuition. At Divine Guidance Institute, we actually equip individuals with the ancient yet timeless skills to navigate life's challenges, ensuring that they're prepared for anything that comes their way. And just a note. I mean, here we are talking about relationships. How's our relationship? Well, as a matter of fact, on the 30th of June, we have a date coming up. We've been together for 29 years.
Wedding anniversary,
Yeah.
yes,
Big
29
anniversary,
years.
29 years. That's a good track record. And
It's some kind of track record.
yeah.
To be able to tolerate each other. No, just
for
kidding.
29 years. So, we could talk a little. Yeah, I actually met Nicole in a dream, which is unusual and different, and it's one of our tools. That's the reason that I mention it. And I actually walking her back to her car on like our second date. Even the license plate that I looked at was, as I was walking her back, and she got in the car, I looked at the license plate, and it was the initials of my previous wife. And it just flashed in really, really hard, like, whoa, this is going to be a significant, meaningful relationship. So I knew what was coming based on a synchronicity or a sign, and I had actually met Nicole in a dream also. So these are some of the tools we're going to talk about briefly today to sidestep adversity and never get blindsided again.
And how to know if you're wasting your time in your relationship. How do you know if it's the one? How do you know if that person's coming around the corner type stuff? So let's just kick it off. Today I was on the call. I was working with a client, and she'll remain nameless, certainly. And she's just been dating this guy for a while, like 9 months. Consistently. And lately it's been bad. It's been off and on, off and on. He's a real gaslighter. I mean, a nightmare. And so my question I always ask is, is life better with him and all its messiness, or is life better without him? And everyone always answers that question the same. Life is better with that person and all its effed up stuff. They'd rather be with the person and the craziness than alone without that person. So they usually stay in the relationship until they can't tolerate it any longer, and then they end the relationship. So since they're in this position, we kind of stay in that relationship and make it as tolerable as we can. Okay, here you go. So she's been doing that for a minute. Well, finally, it got pretty bad. And she was just sick of the bullshit. So it's pretty much over. And she's having moments of missing him and wanting to be with him. and thinking she messed up when it's actually, what he did, over and over again. So anyway, she was having a tough time getting through it this whole week. It's been a struggle. Wanting to call and wanting to get back and knowing the truth and knowing he's pretty toxic. And so today she had a total epiphany that I want to share with you guys because it's huge, and it's two of the tools we use, and four things occurred that put her into this new state of consciousness. And these are her exact words. Today she was realizing how negative he is, how toxic he is. And what she said, I feel like I was viewing this like from a little girl perspective. And today I'm viewing it from an adult perspective, is what she said. And she said, well, what I said was, there's four things that contribute to that. I said, you're staying in the truth, and that's key. The truth of who he is and how toxic he is. He only wants to get married so taxes are cheaper. This type of stuff. And I could go on, but I don't want to give the person away, their identity, so I'm not going to get into it. But the four things that changed that gave her this new perspective is no alcohol consumption, less marijuana consumption. She's only been doing edibles, no smoking for a couple days. She started hewing more, which is our tool, one magic word. You guys are familiar with it. If not, I'll give you a demo in a minute. It's simply inhale and hew. On the exhale, inhale, hew. You can also do it silently. That's the simple tool, but it's really magic. And the fourth thing was sleep on it. The old maxim, sleep on it. When you have a dream, you end up getting clarity, even if you don't remember that dream. So you wake up knowing the answer or feeling better, feeling lighter. That comes from the maxim, let me sleep on it. So those four things occurred, and she had a total change in her state of consciousness, where she was like the adult version of herself, which we consider the higher self. She tapped into her higher self. Her higher self was running the show. And that's when you make the right choice. And that's when you don't get blindsided, when the higher self's running the show.
And really we get, in looking at my own life, blindsided it's a very broad term. We get blindsided in a lot of different ways. But what I did notice was that in those moments, I wasn't paying attention. And that's when I got blindsided. I mean, for example, I've met people that look good, walk good, talk good. Maybe I was looking for an accountant. This is just an example. And, I go, whoa, they sure seem like the dude, the accountant. And I end up hiring them, and they end up embezzling some money. So they were a crook. Well, I got blindsided. Well, how did I get blindsided? Because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking with my eyes at the situation. For example, Ted Bundy would be a good example. It's kind of radical, the serial killer. But Ted Bundy looked good, walked good, talked good. Everybody had good things to say about Ted. But he was a serial killer. And, how do you pick up on that? You would get blindsided if you were in a relationship with Ted Bundy. Well, if you were listening to your inner voice, if you were awake and aware in the moment, you would pick up on a vibration, your gut feeling. You could call it a gut feeling. And in addition to that, you're probably getting some dreams. And those are the things that are ongoing inwardly, dreams and synchronicities and intuition. They're 24/7. They're always on within us. The question is, are we listening? Are we listening? Or are we tuned in outwardly to looking at things with our eyes and listening to things with our ears? And if we are, I can guarantee you, no matter what the situation is, whether it's a soulmate situation or a job situation, there's a real good chance you are going to get blindsided.
Absolutely. Holy moly. That was really good stuff, Michael. I was just sitting here thinking, yeah, Ted Bundy. I mean, that happens with everything, extreme and subtle. the inner voice, that intuition, your gut feeling, your hunch, whatever you want to call it. And most people miss it. I'm going to give you guys a tip right now on intuition. It's very subtle and quick. It comes in right before the thought. So maybe you're wondering, oh, is he cheating on me? And the intuition gives you that answer. And then the mind comes in right after. And it's so quick. That's why you have to really be aware, as Michael mentioned, and quiet so you can catch those intuitive moments. Because the mind comes in right after it and it'll justify it. Oh, no, he's just busy right now. Oh, no, he's with his family. Oh, no, he's with his, his kid or whatever. He's got to work late. But it's that intuition that comes in first. And the hue, we'll get into that in a little bit. There's some important things I want to mention about one magic word.
And just one thing to additionally on that, that's a good point, and Nic nailed it. But if you want to clarify it for yourself also, because a lot of people go, I understand what you're saying, but I can't tell the difference between the two. One will come in your solar plexus. That's your gut feeling, your intuition. You'll always feel it right about where your navel is, in your stomach, your solar plexus,
your gut
feeling. And like Nic said, that mind will come in, right behind it. It's almost part of the same thought, but it's a thought. It comes from your head, not your gut feeling. And there is the difference. There is how to tell what is gut feeling versus the mind coming in saying, are you sure? Do you want to do that? Do you want to go back on that? The mind will take you down to Chinatown and leave you there. The mind is a nightmare. It's our enemy. Make no mistake. It's not our friend. So that's a way to tell between the two, and it's a sure way, and it will lead you to being able to sometimes, certainly most of the time, sidestep adversity and not get blindsided.
And the mind is useful, certainly, but there's a way to have control over it. So it's like it tends to be like an unruly child that's out of control. And so with one magic word, you can actually harness that child and put it in a timeout, if you will. So it serves you instead of us, serving it. I want to switch right now. We were watching Kevin Hart has a new show, Heart to Heart, on Peacock. It's a really good show. It's interviews with A-listers and known people, influencers, etc. And so it's the 4th season. We just watched it for the first time with he had Ben Affleck on for the first episode. Michael and I are watching it just last night. And the most interesting thing occurred on this show. Oh my gosh. And as you know, if you read in the headlines, him and his wife are having issues and it might be the end of the relationship, etc., etc. But that's not the point. The point is during this interview, a prophetic omen was actually revealed. And I'm not going to get into what it is because to me, that's a confidential, private scenario between Ben and J-Lo. But it'd be interesting if you do watch that episode to note if you pick up on the prophetic omen. There was a prophetic omen said during this interview. And I'm not sure when this was filmed. It could have been 2 months ago. It could have been 9 months ago. But that's what the prophetic omen or sign portends to the future. So something happens a week earlier, the day before, a year before, and then it's giving you a snapshot in that moment of the future. So you're not blindsided once again. So you can avoid adversity once again. And in the filming, in this show, in this episode, there was the prophetic omen that was revealed. Again, we're not going to get into it because I'm not here to go with the gossip. My point, Michael's point, our point is simply to convey that these things are occurring 24/7 for everybody. So you avoid adversity and don't get blindsided. And the whole thing was revealed right then and there about the current events happening.
And that's the role of synchronicities. And I don't know whether you, a lot of people pay attention to them. A lot of people don't. Some people don't believe in them. Well, whether you believe in it or not, if you want pure science, it's part of quantum mechanics. And a synchronicity really is a snapshot, like Nic mentioned, of what's coming. It really, truly is. And it's all connected. Like what's coming in your life, maybe tomorrow, next week, or a year from now. And you'd say, well, how can that be? Well, it's pure quantum mechanics. John Bell, 60 to 70 years ago, he was one of the top physicists in the world. He's dead now, but he literally proved through quantum mechanics and the math that goes with it, that everything in the universe is connected. That's not speculation anymore. All the quantum physicists know that. They don't talk about it a whole lot because they can't quite explain it in normal terms, but everything is connected. And that's simply how synchronicities work. Carl Jung, as you well know, a well-known academician, worked on synchronicities his whole life to figure out how they are connected. But if you look around and just ask yourself on a daily basis, walking down the street, driving down the road, going to church, whatever, look around and see if you see any coincidences. See if you see any synchronicities. And you'll start noticing things, and they are messages to you to help you avoid adversity and not get blindsided and see prophetically what is coming in your life. Is it possible? Oh, you bet. But are we awake and aware enough to notice it? That's really the bottom line.
Well, and actually, it's summer solstice just occurred 2 days ago. And this is an important point. 2 weeks prior and 2 weeks after the solstice, summer and winter, and the equinox, fall and spring, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after, we are given a snapshot of the next quarter of our life. So if you pay attention to your dreams and your signs during 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the solstices and the equinoxes, you're given a snapshot of the next quarter of what's coming for you in your life. So we'll just throw that out there. I mean, there's techniques for all of this, and we're not going to get into all of that today. We're just throwing out little pearls for you guys to ponder. And just to wrap up the heart to heart thing. So there was a definite prophetic omen that was revealed during that interview, and those events are occurring now. And we'll leave it at that. But I really want to get into the hue, because that's the number one tool, one magic word for tapping into your higher self, tapping into knowingness, getting clear, and recognizing the signs, the messages, even remembering your dreams and whatnot. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to mention about signs. You don't have to look for signs. Here's 2 things that you can use as a guidepost. If a coincidence occurs, and that's 2 events occurring simultaneously, that's a coincidence. Coinciding events. If you notice a coincidence, or if something occurs and it's so bizarre that it catches your attention, that is how you know there is a message. It's very specific. It's not, oh my God, my shoe is untied. What does that mean? No, 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 no. It's very specific. A coincidence or something totally bizarre. Give you a story. A friend of ours in Arizona woke up and her palm tree was laying down in the front yard when she woke up. She called. She said, what do you think this means? Well, it was pretty apparent something in her life was going to be uprooted. I said, I don't know what that could be. And that doesn't mean a bad thing either. Just something was going to be uprooted in her life. Well, over the next month, her husband got a promotion and they ended up moving across the country within a few months. So that was a prophetic omen. Once again, we call it reading the fabric. It's a higher, much higher level of knowing. Some people go to the psychic and the Ouija board and the tarot cards. It's like it's all within, and it's on autopilot 24/7 autopilot.
And the good news is when we because it is on 24/7 autopilot, it's within each of us. It is our personal truth. It's not the psychic's truth or the Ouija board's truth. You start looking outward for the answer, what you'll get is blindsided. We don't need to look outward. Look in the mirror. You've already got it. Complete tools, complete truth within yourself. And, a good tip with using the hue, as Nicole mentioned, when we hue, two simple letters that puts us in harmony. It puts us in the present moment. And that is what is important. When we're in the moment, everything is good. We fall out of the moment and we start wondering, like, wow, I've got 5 things coming up tomorrow. And, last week I could have done that a lot better. Geez, didn't like the way that went. We live in the past, we're depressed. We live in the future, we have anxiety, we're anxious. And the hue keeps us in that present moment. So if we got to give you one tip that's going to work for you today and work for you instantly, it simply is one magic word. We call it hue. And in that moment, we're awake and aware. We can begin to see what is coming in our own life and begin to understand it. And we begin to wake up. It's our wake up call.
Wakey, wakey. Time to wake up. Yes, yes, yes. 24/7 autopilot, guys. Dream, signs, and intuition. So, the hue. So I did a newsletter this just a couple for summer solstice. We do a newsletter quarterly with the solstices and the equinoxes, reminding everyone of the prophetic omens and whatnot, and the quarterly future reading that's given via the universe. Pretty cool stuff. So anyway, I wrote all about the hue. We started with the hue because, like Michael said, it's the connector. It's the activator. If any of you saw Dune, the movie Dune, there's the spice, and everyone is scurrying about for the spice. The spice is the most valuable thing in the movie,
universe.
in the universe of Dune, and the planets. They're all fighting for the spice. Well, hue is equivalent to the spice. Spice gives the people in the Dune movie, gives them the power of knowingness and seeing the future, etc., etc. The hue literally equates to the spice. The hue is your activator. You don't have to do it out loud either. You can do the hue while you're doing the dishes, while you're driving home. You can do it in the company of others, and no one will even know you're hewing because you can do it silently. So it is different from yoga and meditation in that way. It certainly is. Anyhow, the hue, one magic word for stress, anxiety, depression. It'll even pull you right out of sleep paralysis. Yes, we have field tested the hue. We have tested the hue with the EEG, with the oximeters, with the aura photography, and it always
works. And not to mention, not to even go into testimonials, we have literally thousands upon thousands of testimonials from people who were suffering severe anxiety and it pulled them right out of it, an anxiety attack, or even suicidal ideation. What do you give somebody that calls you on the phone and they really have a gun to their head? What are you going to do?
Give them the hue.
Give them the hue. And several days later, they called back and said, "Oh my God, thank you for the hope I'm feeling for the first time in my life." That's a testimonial. It's like, It's really that quick, works instantly. And that's why we call it one magic word.
So anyway, to get on with it. Okay, here we go. One of our clients sent me a text after she read the newsletter. Mind you, we've known this client for 2 years. She knows about the hue, dream, signs. And you know what she texted back? It was so powerful. Here, I got to pull this up. It was so powerful because, see, soul is really vibration. Your central nervous system is vibration. That's how the whole thing works. The hue is a vibration, and it's such a high, fine vibration that it really elevates us as soul to another level. That higher self taps in that connection you make. It really connects you up with your higher self or God or Holy Spirit, depending on your belief system. So she knows all about it. But the other day, she had a total epiphany. She said, "Oh my God, I just read the newsletter. So that's why you two promote the hue so much. You're tapping into God directly." She said, "Now I see." So here we go. That's exactly it. It uplifts. It takes you to another level. It's very different than all your other words, Om, and you know, the countless other words. It takes you quicker, further, faster.
So yeah, I called God the other day at 1-800-4God, but I got the answering machine. So you know how that goes.
Oh my. And he said, "Trust yourself." Look
That's
within.
right. God
Look
said,
within.
"Come on
Look
now,
within.
you guys know better. Trust yourself. What are you
Yeah.
calling me for?"
So anyway, we're gonna get out of here for now. But just to recap, prophetic omens are always revealing the future, so you avoid adversity and you're not blindsided. And the hue will take you to that higher level and tap you into your higher self, so you can see clearly from that higher perspective, like the client who was seeing it from a little girl perspective and now an adult perspective. And she stopped the alcohol, she reduced the marijuana, she slept on it, and she increased the hue. And holy moly, she had a total breakthrough. And then the prophetic omen that was revealed in Heart to Heart, that interview with Ben, and joy with the client, full of joy, revealing the connection with the hue, even though she's known about it for a year or more, that it taps you directly in. So with that note, what we're going to sign off with, you guys, we never even mentioned that we're a public charity. We never even mentioned that we have books. So today we're going to mention it. It's like we keep forgetting this stuff. Anyway, as Michael says, if you like what you hear, I think he's got a joke. You got a joke?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Too many jokes. Okay.
All right. If you like what you hear, you can donate to the charity. If you want to do it yourself, of course you can do coaching with us, but that's why we wrote 4 books, so you can do this stuff yourself. You don't need us. Or you can also sign up for the newsletter. You can do all 3 of these, one or t'other, at the website, divineguidanceinstitute.org. divineguidanceinstitute.org. You can donate, you can get a book and do it yourself, or you can sign up for the newsletter. Anyway, that's all I've got. You got anything, Michael?
No, that's it. You've got the secret. You got the one magic word. And remember, everything is simply a vibration. And if you hold that hue, that vibration of love will come into your life and smooth things out for you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.